the Christian version of the Taliban. So JD Vance announced today that he's going to host Charlie Kirk's podcast from his government office. Not only is this entirely unethical, but it shows a series of other things. Ben Shapiro's super conservative media empire is now going to assimilate Charlie Kirk's empire. Also, because MAGA was falling apart and fracturing over the non-release of the Epstein files, this is the perfect way for them to have an all-access pass to all of Charlie Kirk's following. Charlie Kirk, who, by the way, was straying on a couple MAGA talking points. Erica Kirk is now a household name and seems to be doing well with the intention, including releasing dead body coffin ASMR on a video, which I cannot fathom doing with any of my loved ones, no matter how long they've been dead, much less 48 hours after they died. But this allows JD Vance, who does not have the charisma or the following, to tap into all of those followers who were starting to fall apart over Epstein and bring them back into the fold. This is not only unethical, it is extremely dangerous. If it hasn't been abundantly clear now, I want to make it very clear. They have every plan to turn this into an excuse to suppress Democrats. Stephen Miller already said he's going to declare Democrats to be domestic terrorists. And there's a bill going to committee on Wednesday. That's its first vote. This bill would allow for anyone who is associated with terrorism or protests Israel to have their passport removed by the Secretary of State, Mark Rubio. American citizens, not just people losing their visas and student visas and immigration paperwork, American citizens losing their ability to travel so that we would be trapped here. And if they can link you to domestic terrorism, saying because you're a Democrat, because you oppose the regime, because you...
I want you to pay attention to the commentary that we had about Iran earlier and how, according to what it is that I've heard from classmates who are Iranian, their families' passports were taken and they are not able to leave the country. The people who left before the regime, and I guess they were able to get external passports, they are able to go in and out. People are like, oh, why don't they just leave if they don't want to be there? Can they leave? Will you be able to leave? I heard Stephen Miller say that he is going to take all the money that you have in your bank account. Raise your hand if you heard him say that. Put up a number 3 if you heard him say that. If not, I'll find the clip for you. That right there I found very worrisome. I was like, wait a minute now.
Don't support what Israel's doing. They can also put you in prison for that. I need you to be very, 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 very nervous about what's going on. And if you have not watched The Family, the Netflix documentary, you need to watch it or read the book, The Family. This has been planned since the 1930s. And understand that if they get their way, there will be no freedom of speech. You will not have the right to disagree. You will not have the right to assemble. They want a Christian fundamentalist nation that will be the Christian version of the Taliban. That is exactly what they want to implement, where you will not be allowed to defy their standard, to defy their interpretation of the Bible, to defy their gender roles, ladies.
Listen.
That is exactly what they want. For as much hatred and Islamophobia as they have always had, they are much more similar to the Taliban than they are people who actually follow Christ. We need to be paying very close attention to what happens in the next few weeks, because the death of Charlie Kirk is so valuable and convenient for them, and they will try to capitalize not just on reuniting their base, but on squelching any opposition.
All right. Thoughts? I want to hear your thoughts on that. Because when she said that, I said, you know what? That is exactly what I think they're trying to do.